Nationals have backed the Prime Minister's plan to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. Let's go to Canberra now, and joining us live is the Deputy Leader of the Nationals Party, David Littleproud. Minister, good to see you this morning. Thanks for your time as always. So you better explain this for me. In principle support, what does that mean?
Well, effectively, the document that we presented to the Prime Minister, and he subsequently replied with his response to what we saw as the mitigants, will be represented in a Cabinet document tonight, which will give a Cabinet the opportunity to tick that off, and then obviously that'll become government policy, and I would suspect sometime tomorrow the Prime Minister will announce our technology roadmap and what our goal to 2050 would look like.
So it's not like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of thing that you could back out of, you know, down the track. You are in. It just depends on the sign-off tonight.
Definitely, and we have no reason to believe there'll be anything other than what we have negotiated with the Prime Minister. He has acted in good faith from the start, and in fact his public statements, well before we even got to this juncture, was that regional rural Australia was at the heart of our technology roadmap in protecting the jobs that are there and trying to create new ones from new technologies that could be placed there. So we've taken great comfort from that, so it's been done in a respectful way, and we would see there's no reason why what was reflected in our correspondence would not be reflected in the Cabinet documents tonight, which would then give the government the opportunity then to outline its net zero goal for 2050.
So the big question everyone wants to know now is, what did you get in return?
Well, just a little bit more time to wait on that one, sorry, Pete. Obviously part of a Cabinet document now, and that means that we're unable to share that until tomorrow, and I think it will become clear tomorrow when the Prime Minister is able to articulate not only that, but I think more importantly what our technology roadmap looks like, because this is about making sure that if you're a coal miner in Central Queensland today or in the Hunter Valley, you shouldn't be shuddering in your boots. Our technology roadmap will keep you in work well beyond 2030, well beyond 2040, and probably towards 2050. And if carbon capture storage is taken up, not just here in Australia, but around the world, your kids could have a job in a pit. That's the sort of work that...
But does carbon capture storage work?
Well, that's the technology that we're investing in. Over $200 million we've committed, and in fact the Biden administration is backing it with even more. So it's a technology that even in my own electorate, I have a coal-fired power station at Millmerran that's one of the first to adopt this technology and is working through that now. And they're telling me that they've already found the hole, some couple of 100 kilometres west of the power station at Millmerran. They've dug, they're ready to put it in. They're working through the technologies, how can it be done more cheaply, and that's working through things like burning the coal with ammonia, which reduces emissions and reduces the cost of the transportation of the carbon. So this is the thing, is we're setting in place the environment for this sort of technology to be able to work and to save those jobs in that power station, to extend the life of that coal-fired power station, those people's jobs, but also those that are in the pits digging out the coal.
But you got a guarantee, right, that there will be regional safeguards in place?
We've worked with the Prime Minister. In fact, he's made that clear from the start, and I think that's where we've got to get back to exactly, not just this week, but months before. The Prime Minister in Parliament itself had said that regional Australia was at the heart of the technology roadmap in protecting those jobs that were there and making sure that we understood this is a global issue that's hitting us. Our customers that are taking our coal are signing up to this. But we're investing in the technology that will hopefully keep our boats going with the coal, but also keeping the coal here in Australia where it can be used in our coal-fired power stations, but not turning our back on new technology like hydrogen. And we've got to be pragmatic. The world does change, and if there's better ways of doing things, I think Australia should lead that. And that's what the technology roadmap's about. It's about us leading, and so that we're at the forefront, we're leading the world, and they look to us, and we're creating the jobs here.
But how can you guarantee safeguards? Labor could win the next election and then change things, so there would be no guarantee.
Well, obviously we're trying to make sure that whatever we do has some sort of legacy to it that would mean that no future government would turn their back on regional Australia. We are worried about the other mob. I mean, they've blindly signed up to this without telling you how they're going to get there, apart from a couple of electric vehicles. That's all they've promised. So the detail of their plan, despite already signing up to this, is frightening. And that's what we're worried about at regional Australia. We can only work with what we've got, and the Prime Minister has been very clear about this. regional Australia is not going to bear the brunt like it did last time, and that's what you'll see when he announces their roadmap and what the National Party has been able to work through together with him to give the comfort to those people working in resource industries, those people working in the agricultural sector right across regional Australia. It's the coalition that's been able to do that because we're at the table cutting the checks, making the decisions.
What was the financials in this? What's the cost, can you say?
No, I can't at the moment. Sorry, you're just a little too soon on that one, and that's obviously what we're working through tonight, and that'll be a cabinet decision. But the Prime Minister's made it clear this has been more about not necessarily money, but making sure that we have the parameters and safeguards in place to protect as much of regional and rural Australia as we possibly can.
Will there be an extra cabinet position that comes out of it for you?
Well, that's a decision for the Prime Minister, but obviously the National Party has always maintained that we should have another cabinet position, and that'll ultimately be a decision for the Prime Minister to make. Barnaby
Joyce won't say if he personally backs net zero, do you?
Well, I'm not going to make commentary on anybody. What was said in that party room yesterday should stay there. The sanctity of our party room is precious. And I don't intend to commentate on anybody. The National Party position is clear, and I support the National Party's position 100%, and I'll be getting behind it, as does everyone else in that party room, apart from those that articulated a contrary view and said that they would make those statements public, which in our party room, our culture, that's okay. We actually celebrate that there's diversity. So long as you're open and honest in our party room, you tell us where you sit, it's okay if people want to have a dissenting view. And obviously there's a number that have already made public comments, and we respect that.
Okay, David Littleproud, appreciate your time.